And welcome back to Top Dogs. We will be diving into a rather controversial topic, as it is colorful as we go through the storm of the social media as we tackle the challenge of cancel culture within the furry community. Now, before we begin, I wanted to point out that, yes, Stream is in a different avatar. Do you want to discuss that?
Yeah, so after discussing with a few of my friends and relatives, I've been asking, what they thought of the avatar and stuff, and I found quite a lot of issues going on with my avatar and things that I didn't like about it, and I've tried to contact my avatar maker. Sadly, he doesn't offer a guarantee on his work once the avatar is delivered. I try to find a compromise with him, but I end up being more at a loss than anything. So I've decided to go back to my previous avatar and update it with all the features that I had on my newer one. So worked on the body, new arm, new tail, and I'm loving it quite a bit. So yeah, it feels nice to be back and have a nice little friendly face for everybody.
And of course, my name is Fiction.
I'm Streaming Markedad.
And I'm Whiplash Wolf.
Since we're on the topic, we're going to be discussing, as I said before, the cancel culture within the furry community. Now, everybody has gone through it in some way or another. Not sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly, sometimes they engage with it, and sometimes it just falls on their lap. Now, I wanted to ask, we'll start off with Whiplash, because I'm pretty sure he's going to give a colorful statement about this. What is cancel culture to you, in your own opinion?
Where do I start with this one? I feel like cancel culture, it resides in every fandom that, exists in this world. Every fandom will have it, and it's pretty prominent because anything that seems to be, bad in a fandom will always get the most, it'll get noticed the most, and people will just jump on it and just hop on it. And always that one person who's targeted will just have their life, honestly, because people don't want to look at both sides of the story, because someone gets called out for something and it's not true, but people will believe it. And then that person's will have people who hate them now, and there'll be people who will actually talk to them, which is what you're supposed to do, and get their side and see the conclusion. But a lot of people don't do that. People just look at one thing and be like, oh, that's bad. I believe that. I mean, that's
I'm kind of on the same point with you, is that, people jump the gun without really doing much research. And sometimes that research is not always available. Sometimes it's just trying to get to know the person you're talking to. But it's kind of like the same thing with me. I think cancel culture is to me, it's like a source pool of just wanting that negative attention just to get something out of it, whether good or bad, regardless of how it is. Anytime I ever see people step into the light of cancel culture, and they're trying to put someone down, I feel like it's just they'll do anything to step over somebody to make themselves look good.
Personally, I think the definition for me of cancel culture is when a person or a group of individual is trying to publicly shame somebody inside a community so that person gets rejected, shamed, or hated upon. And it's usually a group effort. Sometimes it is done for the right reason, sometimes it's done for the bad reason, but nonetheless, I think that any sort of public shaming and stuff like that should never be done. And if somebody is doing something illegal, they should report to the authorities and do it the legal way, the actual legitimate way. Do not do public shaming. It's not the way to get a message across.
Number one fact, though, just to keep in mind, since we're on the topic of law when it comes to that, any type of, what's the word I'm looking for, defamation of character is actually illegal. So keep that in mind when you're posting things on social media, because that could potentially come back to haunt you when you're doing things. So if you have a legitimate reason for concerns, then report it to the police. Don't post it online. And also, I would say from from your personal perspective, how did you handle the experience or witness cancel culture firsthand? Did it make you feel a certain way? What did you learn from it?
Oh no, my arm. What I learned from it? I mean, do you want like the truth or do you want like the answer I should get? I mean, what I learned from it, I learned that people are they believe anything easily. They will just like I said, they'll just get one side will bring out will shame someone publicly, and then people will just jump on it, just ride it until it's dead, because people will not try to get the other person's story. They rather just believe it versus just try to make sense of the situation that's going on. And my situation, I had plenty of people come up to me and ask me about it, which I'm happy. Thank you. Everyone who did that, thank you.
Of course.
But then, there was some who blocked me and blah, blah, blah. I don't care about those people. Obviously, it's whatever. To me, I've actually enjoyed being off your chat, not doing content creation, because mentally I've been getting a lot more better. And I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying doing stuff with my friends, car stuff, making bad decisions with money. But hey, that's my choice.
Of course. At least you're taking some time off after that cancel culture thing that's happened. I get that. When I was canceled, that was maybe a couple of years ago. I don't know if any of you guys remember. I don't even know if anybody in the back remembered either. But yeah, that was silly. It kind of just happened over when I went to go hang out with a furry that's very popular in the community, but they didn't invite them, so they kind of got salty about it just to start stuff with me. They didn't even tell me what the problem was. They just kind of made things up as they went to make me look bad. And it didn't last long. Because with me, when you're dealing with cancel culture, it's better not to say nothing if you really did nothing wrong. You don't need to defend yourself to anyone.
Ooh. That's very true. I'm sorry I'm stealing your thunder stream. But it's very true.
No, it's fine.
I'm not stream.
No, because I know stream was about to talk. So, if you've noticed, people who actually go after their cancellations, the fire just keeps getting lit over and over again until it rolls into some TNT and then it just explodes. But if you don't acknowledge cancel culture, then it dies within a week. But in the furry fandom, we have cancel culture every day, so I mean, it gets bogged down the very bottom.
I mean, personally, I remember when Fiction had the cancel culture thing brought up again, and I read through the whole thing, and I was like, this is very confusing, and a lot of this information doesn't make actual sense. So, Fiction, you're my friend, and I heard their side of the story. The first thing I did is I reached out to you and I called you. I'm like, hey, man, there's this thing going on about you. Tell me your side of the story. And then you told me your side of the story. I'm like, this makes way more sense. And the best approach to this is if you're getting cancel culture, just don't pay attention to it. If you know you're right, you should not have to justify yourself, because if you do, it looks like you're trying to hide something. And it's the good thing, the positive thing about receiving cancel culture is you'll figure out really quickly who your true friends are, and not some random people that just, tries to get close to you and, gain some of their popularity and stuff. You'll know who your true friends are. And if I'm going to be targeted for cancel culture, guys, please come message me and ask me what's going on. I will tell you what's going on. All right?
Mm-hmm. I know somebody was trying to start beef with you at one point. For no reason.
I'm expecting, just the fact that I've changed avatars and what I mentioned earlier, I'm expecting maybe to receive some cancel culture from that person. And honestly, after weighing the pros and cons and having discussion with close friends, not to spread the drama too much, I have nothing to worry about. And if this person wants to start a beef, that's his problem. I don't want to start this, even though it's infuriating for the amount of money that I paid, but I'm not going to lower themselves to his standards. And my close friends, I'll tell them to be careful, but this person has legit actual talents and skills. I don't know maybe they're going through something in their life and they haven't been able to produce as well. So I'll leave the benefit of the doubt, but I don't want to lower myself to this level.
Yeah, you have a good point. Another thing that I wanted to point out with a lot of people who want to have these conversations about drama and wanted to put people down, these people who I thought were my friends at one point never came to me and told me straight up if they had a problem with something. They never did. Until this day, they still did not have the courage to tell me to my face. And I would have respected them a little bit more if you just came up to me and tell me there's a problem instead of hiding. Because eventually I will figure it out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't stay silent for too long. So that's another thing I kind of notice with some people who start drama. They talk big on the internet, but they don't show much action in real life.
They bark loud, but they don't bite hard. That's usually what ends up happening most of the time. It's really fun to confront these people. To be honest, like I've done that a few times where I confronted people, and man, they end up running with their tails in between their legs. They don't like to be confronted, and yeah. So don't be scared to walk up. I hate confrontation personally, but if it's for the well-being of my friendship or my other friends or people I care about, then I'll get out of my comfort zone and fight for the people that I believe means justice and needs equality.
Yes.
Did you want to say something?
I was. It literally was in my mind, and then it just went. I will gain the memory very shortly. It was something about yeah, it just it dropped out of my mind immediately. Wait. I was gonna say the only thing good that cancel culture can bring to you, if you're like the main focus, is you do see your true friends, and that's the ones you spend more time with. If you happens to you. But I'm happy with what happened because I know who my true friends are now, and I spend more time with them than the fake ones who are hypocrites. Because usually most people who like to defriend you afterwards have done some pretty shit stuff themselves.
Considering. You want to go?
No, it's okay. Just say it. I want to continue on what you were saying, Whiplash. I have a few of my friends that I saw when the story came out concerning you. The details is not important. It's just the fact that there was some sort of cancel culture towards Whiplash, and it's not important anymore. But I saw a few of my friends actually just acting on just one side of the story, and I've actually reached out to these friends. I'm like, have you heard his side of the story before taking actions like this? He's like, no, I don't need to. I'm like, I think you should, because I could be out there and say whatever random stuff I want because I don't like this person. I will make up things and make up proof and accusation in the hopes of ganging up people against that person. So I think it's good that you go and reach out for that person and try to get their side of the story. And the person didn't want to. I'm like, can I tell you his side of the story because I've spoken with? And the person said yes. I explained to him. And then he removed all, he's blocking, unfriend, and he undid all of this, and he was a lot more understanding. So I got your back.
That is also true. I got your back as well.
Which I appreciate it, guys. Well, like I said, you guys are true friends.
Aw.
And so Sakura, and then back there.
Yay,
friendship. I enjoy the true friends more than the flaky ones. The ones who are more flakier than a Popeye's biscuit.
That's a good simile. But okay, I dig it. I'm not gonna complain about that.
I mean, you're Southern. You should be able to say it.
Oh, I would have something to say, but I'm not gonna say it right now. Okay, so I think another thing I want to say is a good thing that I wanted to point out. Even if you know you didn't do anything wrong and people are still trying to cancel you, make you look bad, it's okay to step up for yourself and make sure people do not step on your boundaries. I don't care because I never did anything wrong. So let people know that you're not just going to keep walking over me because you think you can. I'm tired, and I feel bad that I see a lot of furries that are afraid to speak up for themselves because they're worried about losing their friends. And to your credit, you will lose some friends, but there is going to be friends that are going to choose to stay too, and those are the true ones, not the ones that chose to left you. If they really cared about you, they would have stayed, and they would have been understanding more. Just keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Also, to clarify what you're saying, like standing up to yourself, it doesn't mean like publicly saying, hey, I didn't do anything, because like we mentioned earlier, if you didn't do anything wrong, you don't have to justify. What he means by that is you need to go privately to that person, like, and be like, try to solve this situation and be, what is the problem? Why are you doing this to me? And if the person is not communicative or blocking you or he's keep on attacking you, at least you've tried. And you can say that if people go to you and ask you about what's going on. So, yeah, just it's okay to stand up for yourself. Do stand up for yourself, but keep that stuff private. Don't lower yourself to their standards.
Keep in mind when I dealt with a lot of people as well, like I've dealt with problems, not with just drama, but sometimes with other things in life. Now, if I have a problem, I've always kept this one rule to myself: always be respectful, and there's nothing wrong with being firm and getting your point across. I never curse anybody out. I never yell at them, never call anybody names. But I will go up to that person and tell them, hey, I don't appreciate this. We need to talk. And I want people to understand when I do that. It's not to hurt your feelings. It's just have to be firm for you to listen, to understand where I'm coming from. But on to the next question. Considering like our community is like very small and most of our interactions are online, do you think the social media has been more influenced by cancel culture?
Yes.
I know that's a rhetorical question.
100% yes. Because to be fair, like, if it wasn't for social media, then how would you get it out, honestly? How would you be able to spread it? How would you be able to spread your tumor around the internet?
I mean,
social media is like the bed bug of a cheap motel for rumors and such to go around. So, I mean, without social media, honestly, to be me, if there was no social media, we'd probably be happier. I mean, there's good things about it, but there's so much, at least what I'm going to say, cancer. There's so much cancer on social media. It's ridiculous.
We got to weigh the outcomes here, like the pros and cons. Yes, you get cancel culture. Yes, you have more people that are going to be assholes. But from this perspective, I know this is a little off topic, but I'm just going to mention it real quickly. We would have never met each other. We would have never done what we're doing right now.
Well, I know. Trust me. Like, there's definitely pros of social media. But then the cons just kind of pop up in your face every day, even though you don't want to see them. Because, of course, like I said, this is furry fandom. Twitter exists still. Until people move to that new app, whatever it's called. I'm not even gonna move to it. It's whatever. As soon as Twitter dies, I'm just going to die with it. But it's just every day there's something that pops up on your screen you don't want to see. It's like, I was having a good time until this showed up.
What about you, Stream? What do you think? Do you think the social media has made cancel culture even worse?
It has definitely made it easier for people to gather up and backstab or hurt other people. The thing is, we're a very small community, and information spreads around really quickly, either good or bad. So it's really important to learn on how to filter this information and not take everything for granted and take some of these things in as a grain of salt. Just make your I wouldn't say make your research, but reach out to people who are concerned with issues if you have questions. Don't ask the person that is stirring the drama unless you want to hear their full side of the story. Get their side of the story, then do your own little private investigation. That's what I would say. Do your own private investigation, figure out what's happening on both sides, and then you'll be able to draw your own conclusion. But social media makes it a lot easier. I mean, look, a few years ago, we were sending letters through the mail with paper and ink, and now we're texting on our phones and even smartwatches if we want to. So, of course, it's a lot easier to spread misinformation. So do your own investigation.
to add on to what you just said, that I wanted to point out, I think when post-COVID happened, like when COVID was at its peak, it made it worse too. Because people were always home and nobody was actually doing things.
People were bored out of their minds in their parents' basement. They don't have any hobbies, and you see that meme of like, oh, drama is happening and eating a bowl of popcorn. That's literally what was happening. People were so bored that they're stirring up just to get entertained and have something different, something exciting. Like, oh, what's the thing going on? This is basically what happened. So we have to get out of this mentality. COVID is over. We're able to socialize, spread positivity, and as I mentioned earlier, what do you want to be remembered for? You want to be remembered for the guy stirring up on the internet, or the guy helping out and trying to spread positivity?
Another thing, Whiplash, that I wanted to ask you is that, I'm not sure where you were post-COVID when definitely drama got worse for cancel culture. Where were you during that time? The reason why I'm asking you is like, because when that was happening, I didn't realize fires were being burned during the cancel culture era. Like, I remember there was some type of drama that was happening. I didn't know which one it was, but it was definitely a big one. You remember which one it was?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I can count on both hands how much drama was happening during 2020 alone. Well, actually, probably more than the two hands. Are we talking about 20 just 1 year or just all the years?
Well, during just the whole COVID season, when it was at its peak, I feel like that's what made it worse during the cancel culture.
Oh no, whenever everyone had to sit home and stay home, I mean, people were sitting on the computer all day. If they could work from home, they could easily just look at their phone or be on their computer, look at Twitter or whatever they use, and just start crap. Like, because you have all your abilities to start it. Like, it did seem like during when COVID hit its peak in 2021, 2020, it just more people joined the furry fandom, and I feel like when those people joined the furry fandom, it just lit up. Cancellation just lit up like that. Like, I know VR chat is what helped people get into the furry fandom because, I mean, these personas are adorable, they're cute. But the situation behind it is there are people behind personas or avatars. And then a lot of people don't see that. And it just starts a lot of drama.
Well,
another thing.
I think people, it's not the fact that there's a person inside behind the fursuit or the persona. They just don't care. They don't care who you are. They only think about themselves and what other people think about them. I think that's usually what most of the problem end up being is they just think about themselves and don't care about anybody that their action could create harm for other people.
I would say another thing, Whiplash, that I wanted to point out is, especially like when you have an opinion that not a lot of people may not agree with, but it's still you. I feel like another thing is that it's hard for you to be your genuine self without being judged for it, and then people just want to cancel you for it. And then that's the other crappy part about it. Like, I'm gonna use this as an example, but there could be some people with different political views. I'm not going to mention like any type of political view. I'm just making that as an example. But if they don't like it, they'll trash you. Like, what's wrong with having your own type of opinion about something that you agree with? But you don't have to like it. I don't expect everybody to agree to it.
To be fair, my genuine self, I say some awful things. That's all I can say. Not like anything like bad words. I just say some I have some very bad road rage. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I remember seeing that video where you got hit by that truck with your Corvette.
Oh, that was the most minuscule thing I could have possibly done right there. Trust me. I've said worse on less things.
Okay.
On lesser situations.
But back onto the topic. Do you think most of these cancellations are more personal or impactful, Whiplash?
Personal, like 100%. If they were impactful, they wouldn't like go online and try to like justify publicly shaming someone. If depending on the situation, depending on what the other person has done, go to the authorities. If you really want to do something, go to the authorities about it. If you want to actually make an impact, do that. Just don't publicly shame someone, because all you're doing at that point is you're starting a tired dumpster fire. But people who started, they're going for like the clout for it, as I see it. If you really want to make an impact, you do something that wouldn't be putting it out there on the internet. It'd be doing it behind closed doors, getting it done thoroughly. But it's not. You're just doing it to start.
I agree with what you're saying. Most people do start crap just so they can have some type of attention. But let me tell you something, people. That kind of attention is very short-lived. Are you going to, like what he said, what Stream has said, are you going to be known to be the, or are you going to actually be known for your work and what you're doing? And then here's another thing that I want to point out, and this one actually offends me more, and I want to tell you why in just a second. Now, I'm not going to mention this word because I don't want YouTube to take down this video, but I'm just going to say there is a P word that is used too many times in cancellation.
Oh, yeah.
And when
Yeah.
So this is the reason why I have a problem with it. And Stream would also agree with this. And I'm going to be speaking straight from the heart and with frustration and annoyance. As a person, who has a member of the family that is a victim of actual P word, they are messed up for life, and they will never recover from it. You guys who use that word a lot, throw it around like it's candy, and it disembowels that word and the real problem. You are harming the real victims when you use that word. It's disgusting and more shameful. Shame on you for doing that. You can say what you need, Stream, if you want to.
Oh, well, I don't know what to say to this. I totally agree. There's a lot of people, I've noticed that the people that stir drama and like you were saying, like, is these cancellation more personal or impactful? Usually these people, they will try to be impactful, but they realize that they don't have necessarily all the legal paperwork and stuff to get it done legally. So to get revenge, they'll usually go through social media and try to do some cancel culture, or either they don't have the time or effort to go with a more impactful, the legal actual right. And yes, people throw around that word way too easily. My husband was a victim from this. He wrote a book about it, and it messes up people for life. And it messes up their reputation for life as well. So don't throw around this word like a piece of candy. Like you said, it's really well said. I agree with that. And I'm just disgusted by people that do that. And usually the people that stirs the drama, it's always the same people. So what ends up happening is these people start sinking their own ship because nobody believes them anymore, because they're always stirring drama up. I have a few names in mind that are really good at that, but that's beyond the point. Do the legal thing, please.
So I want to add on to what he said.
Whiplash.
Go ahead, Whiplash, if you want to say something.
I've already told you both that I'm also a victim of it. I just don't ever tell anyone because I don't like bringing it up. And it's also not necessary for someone to know about your past. Don't try to bring it. Like, I see, like, some people it's hurtful. Like, for me, like, I didn't get over it until I was 20, 21. It affected my sexuality. Because, like, I always thought I was straight. And then, like, all my friends in high school, middle school, and, like, even my friends now saw me as someone who was gay, but I never admitted to it because of what happened to me. I didn't want to. And also made me hate a certain group of people, too, because of the person who did attack me. But being actually affected by it fucks you up. And then you people throwing accusations, throwing that word around, like, it's just another word like that. Or this. Or and. You lose meaning behind it whenever you actually say it. It's like, now that I see that word anywhere on Twitter, like in the furry fandom, like, it means nothing to me. Because I've seen it so fucking much it just seems like another word. It has no meaning to it anymore. It's been overused for the most wrongful things in this fandom. But people who are actually victims of being, attacked by an adult, it screws them up. Like me, I don't know what my mind is anymore. Like, I just know, to me, that mentally, I'm not there still. I know there's some, like, broken bolts or loose screws or broken, like, light bulbs. And I've never gone to therapy about it. I should have. But yeah.
You still should, though. But
it's never too late. It's never too late to get help for that.
Of course. But that's what I'm saying. And the last thing I will add, and it's just going to be real quick, is that, as Whiplash, you said, when people keep throwing that word around, it loses its meaning behind it, and that's what hurts. So keep that in mind, people. Now we're going to do this real quick. So I'm going to say subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell. Once you hit that notification bell, it will notify you for our latest videos and our latest shorts. Follow us on our radio platforms and leave us a rating, as that will help us out a lot. And join our Discord and our Telegram chat. Links for all these are in the link tree down below in the description.
Hey, Top Dogs fans, are you ready for an elevated fan experience? Discover exclusive perks by joining our service subscription on Discord or Patreon. For $2.99 a month, become a podcast supporter, unlock raw, unedited podcast episodes, access supporter meetups, and receive a unique custom paw emoji, among other special goodies. Craving more? Then level up for a podcast supporter plus for $5.99 a month. Participate in episode voting, share your feedback, and experience the excitement of being in our live audience. Plus, get an insider's peek at our upcoming plans and merchandise. Remember, your support is the fuel to our fire, and while these subscriptions are optional, they significantly help us grow. So join us now, and let's make Top Dog's journey even more phenomenal together. Yay! My confetti is broken. Damn it. I wanted to add some pizzazz, but it failed.
Do it.
Oh my god, you're so big, Whiplash.
Go buy our merch. Go follow us on Spotify. What?
We don't have merch yet. It's in the plans.
Buy it when it comes out.
Yeah.
Do it.
Maybe stickers or mugs. That would be nice.
Or just like this episode, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna start some fake information about you and spread it around. Ooh, then you won't have a reputation anymore.
You'll spread it around like a PB&J sandwich. Just like spread that stuff all over.
But PB&J is delicious.
Let's not use that spread more than it is, please. I'm sorry to get ideas. I don't like where my mind is going right now.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Yes, I know.
Anyways, back on topic. In your opinion, what do you think drives cancel culture within the community? Let's start with you, Whiplash.
So what drives it? I feel like what drives it is people. People drive it.
Well, can you be a little bit more specific?
People who are easily believable. They believe one thing. They don't really get both sides of stories. They will just see it and then will not ask questions. I can't remember what that actual word is called, but they're just like, to me, it sounds like they're more just manipulated into believing anything they see on the internet without questions.
I can argue that. I think sometimes it's not just manipulated, but sometimes people just choose to believe it.
In my opinion, I think what drives cancel culture is people that trying to take matter in their own hands, and they try to be their own judges, advocate, lawyers, and do all that stuff on their own, because most of the time it's either driven by a sense of justice, revenge, or anger towards a situation. Now, I'm in a situation where I'm kind of upset, and I want to protect my friend from a person that wronged me recently. And I want to spread out the words, like, be careful with this person, but I'm not. I realize that if I do that, I'm not being better than anyone out there who's doing the cancel culture. So I'm just not going to say anything. I'm going to keep it to myself, but I will go to my friend who consider doing business or whatever, and I'm going to tell them to be I'm going to be very professional about it. I'm just going to be, here are the things you need to watch out for. I hope everything goes well for you. But putting your anger on the internet is just not good. Just don't do it. I know sometimes you feel like, I need to bring justice. This person did something so wrong, but in the end, it's not us to decide, and people can do whatever they want. And I've gone into an argument with this person. It doesn't mean that you Whiplash are going to get into an argument with him. Fiction, same for you. So all these issues are so personal. You cannot expect everybody to be also in an argument with this person. What I'm dealing with is very personal, and I cannot go out there and just start doing public culture because I feel it's the right thing to do in order to protect my friends. But no, I just don't. Just don't do that.
Just keep in mind that what he did say, though, is that something about justice. Now, think of it this way. You know the statue with the lady that's blind and holding up the thing? The balance thing? What's it called?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she's holding the... Yeah, that's cool. Sorry.
So, to explain what that means, literally, it means justice is blind, not heartless. You ever heard of that saying?
Yeah. No, I've never heard it, and it makes so much sense.
Just to point it out, even blind. Our... Not heartless.
Wow.
So keep this in mind when I say that. If our justice system has to go through this huge process of trying to actually get victims, like, they need evidence. They need strong, hard evidence for them to convict somebody, right? Now, I just find it very amazing, like, if it takes them a long time to figure it out, like, what's going on, because that's a long process, what makes you think you really know the answers after just reading that document? About that, whoever they try to cancel, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I've dealt with a situation with my husband, like when he put his, his morale teacher that sexually abused him at school. It was a long process. It took many years before we were able to have a final judgment. It's a long process. So, yeah. I don't know where I was going up with this.
But to add on to that, is cancel culture really for justice, a form of control, or something else, Whiplash?
I feel like it's a form of control. I mean, as I said before, like, if it was actually for justice, it would be behind closed doors, and it would be involving authorities, really, depending on the situation itself. Or talking with said person instead of just blasting them. It's just personal control to me.
Okay. What about you, Stream?
I do believe it's also a form of control. It's people that are trying to manipulate other people into being on your side and try to remove this person's credibility, do defamation, or try to ruin their reputation.
That's a good point. Now, yeah, I do believe it's a form of control so people can get on your side as well. Now, I have a thing where I say this, like, whether we're dealing with a problem, whether friends, family, anything, I never try to split them. I always try to say, we got to stick together, regardless of how we feel in that moment. Take a breather, cool off, and let's get back to it. Because what matters is that we're together, because if you spread the team or your family or your friends, it's a very ugly situation. Just like the same thing with, the cancel culture, like when people are trying to cancel and nobody believes them, what they're saying, but there is a majority that do believe what they're saying, and it just causes a huge split, and they jump the person that doesn't necessarily agree with it either. That's the crappy part. Like, why would you do that? Just because they didn't believe it? They needed to know more. Come on now. Jesus. But, now this is going to get a little bit more personal, guys. So I have to ask you this in advance. I hope you understand where I'm coming with this. So tell us a story of how someone tried to cancel you, if you're comfortable with explaining it. Let's go with you, Whiplash.
I mean, I don't know anymore. I don't want to talk about it. I'm already
that's
tired of
fine.
hearing about it. I mean,
you did bring up a few points about what was going on previously. You did mention some parts of it.
I mean, yeah. It's just something I want to, I'd rather just put it behind me. Not worry about it. I didn't care about it when it first came out. I still don't care about it, honestly. I'm just annoyed by it. It's like...
Okay. I mean, you made your point.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Stream?
I've never been really a target of cancel culture, but I'm having doubts that maybe somebody will try to pull something on me, and I don't know if that person's going to do it or not. If he does, well, too bad for him, because I got all the screen captures and everything, and I will find out who my true friends are. So whether he decides to do something against me or not, I honestly don't care, and I'm not going to give it a single bit of attention. If I lose friends, too bad. If people come up to me and ask me, then I'm going to be glad to consider them as friend. I mean, we're not meant to get along, everybody, and just be mindful of that. And I understand that my situation, I'm having an issue with this person, doesn't mean that you will. And I mean, this guy was a great friend, and I honestly miss it. Like right now, I miss the friendship we had. I wish we didn't end up to this.
That's a fair point. Now, I will somewhat talk about my situation. Like, I'm pretty sure there is a lot of you people, some of you are familiar with what happened to me. I believe Sakura knew too. So, with me, I was...
Ambro doesn't know about it.
Well, I'm not going to go in full details about it because I don't...
No, short summary.
Yeah,
a short summary is that when I was at the height of where I was building up myself on TikTok, and I was now having a furry that we went on a vacation trip, and I was in Florida with these other group of furries, but there was a local furry in that area who invited me to his house, and I think that's what kind of started it, really, because I don't know, they didn't say nothing, there was nothing wrong with it. And then I hanged out with them to the house, and we just hanged out, really, and that's all we ever did. And when I get back, everything was kind of dandy, really. It was nothing really bad at all. And then when we got back to Tennessee, which is where I was at the time, I went to their house, and I spent the night, went to bed, said my goodbyes, all that. Nothing out of the ordinary, right? So I went home a day later. They started questioning things about me, the things that I've done, and I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, this was just out of the blue. And I literally remember asking the person, if there was a problem, why didn't you just mention it when I was there?
Yeah.
And I never got that answer. So they accused me of a lot of things, which was kind of weird. The one that I don't mind mentioning was the fact that they said I was using anabolic steroids when I was working out. Which is, I have never touched anabolic steroids. Keep that in mind, never did. And I kind of laughed at that. I was like, where are you getting this information? And they're like, oh, remember the medication they were using? I was like, those are not medications. Those are things you can get, like, those are supplements.
Yeah,
not even a drug. Now, and I'm just like, there's no law that says it's illegal for me to own it. And I don't know what, it was just the weirdest thing ever. So they tried to say that I was using steroids and I was very aggressive. And I'm like, where is this coming from? And I'm just like,
absolutely
yeah.
No sense.
Yeah, and I was like,
I was gonna say, Stream, I think you have a point. I'm like, you said the word, and now I'm thinking about it, and it makes so much sense.
What is?
Cancel culture comes from people who used to be good friends. Most of the time. Because that person, my situation, I used to be good friends with them, and then it just shit everywhere. And you used to be good friends with their person, and you used to be good friends with your person.
Yeah.
And then all this stuff comes out.
Well, it's weird because you thought that you could trust these people, and then they ended up stabbing you in the back. But, you know, I've kind of been around this fandom for a little while, and I kind of know what to expect anymore. Like, I found some information about this person. I'm like, okay, well, right now it's not important. Let's just have a good time. Let's hang out. And then eventually stuff started showing up, and I was expecting it. I was ready for it. I was hoping it wouldn't come to it. But dealing with these types of personalities can be very difficult sometimes. I've dealt with personalities like that a few times in the past. And I was just ready for it. So it's just sad because I honestly wish them the best. I don't like being in beef with people. I really don't.
I don't either. It's, but I still feel like that's my reasoning. Is like cancel culture comes from what used to be a good friendship between two people. Used to be.
All right.
But again, it's weird because these friends, they could have talked to you when you were there. Like, hey, why did you do that? People are scared of confrontation. So once they left, they hid behind a keyboard and started accusing you of stuff that made absolutely no sense. Well, that's what ended up happening.
Mm-hmm.
May I continue what I was going to say?
Hey, don't bite my tracker. Jed.
Oh my God.
Sorry. Yeah, it's okay. Hello.
But yeah, Jed's silly.
Big boy. He's big now. He just turned 10 months old now. He's 80.
I know, I saw that post.
80
Anyways.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He's
Anyways.
a European German Shepherd.
Go ahead,
Anyways.
Fiction.
When that happened, I went home. There was other things I brought up, but I'm like, okay. I mean, it's whatever. The thing is, though, when that happened, I just chose to ignore it because I didn't do anything wrong. That's what I said earlier. Like, if you know you didn't do anything wrong, do not engage with it because you know what yourself did. It doesn't really matter what other people think about you at that moment. As long as you know you're in the right, and who cares what other people think. That's what I want to say. Now that I'm done with talking about that part, you have to be okay with the fact that no matter what, people are not always going to be on your side. And sometimes people have a personal vendetta. And you got to really, really pay attention to it. Especially if you are in a spotlight, especially with big popular furries. They really have to watch themselves because they can spot it. They're really trying to be their friend, or they're just trying to get something out of them. We as a team, or even as individuals who make content, we can see through that. And people need to understand that. Like, no, it's not that we don't want to have friends. It's not we're saying, oh, we're more cooler than you, so you can't hang out with us. That's not the case. We are just more cautious about who we talk to now because we don't know whether we can trust people or not these days.
I was going to say, too, about the not saying anything about it. It's funny because you will also have people come up to you and saying, why haven't you said anything about it yet? Because to them, you not saying anything makes you look bad. You're not going to win the situation either way, like with some people. But talking about it, not talking about it, is a lot better. Because it adds less fuel to the fire. If you say something or respond to a situation you're in, I mean, you're just like dumping jet fuel in it. And it's just burning a lot brighter than it should be. Ignoring it is the best option to go with because you're not going to cause as much drama. Let the one side burn itself down and then it'll be gone. That's usually how it goes.
I mean, drama on the internet is like a bit like playing chess against a pigeon. Like, you can be planning your every single move. The pigeon is just going to knock over all the pieces on the board and just pretend as if it's won. So it's a fight you're never going to win. So just don't play their game. Just don't hop in.
As the result of this, it doesn't really matter what other people think about you. It's a matter of what you believe in. And that's what leads on to my next question. I feel like, as this question says, has the fear of cancel culture ever affected your behavior or expressions in the community? Now, I want to say something to this. Me personally, no, because I'm going to stick to what I believe in. It's my opinion, and I don't care what you might think, because in my head, this is still right. Now, I'm not going to be a complete about what I believe in. I'm going to tell you why I believe in it in the most nicest and the most respectful way. But if you come at me, like, oh, I can't believe you believe in this, I'm like, dude, you know, it's whatever. Not a big deal. But I feel like because of cancel culture, people are more afraid, especially in this community, to speak up for themselves.
I don't know. I got a mixed feeling about that one.
I mean,
well, think about it. Because of cancel culture, people have to word things carefully now without trying to offend somebody.
Yeah.
that'll offend more people. I mean, what's the offending gonna do at this point with like the furry fandom? It's you can say toast to someone and that will offend at least one person in this fandom.
Well, you know what?
And that's probably offended.
Just be offended. If that offends you, be offended. There's no way you can't please anyone on the internet. It's impossible.
Very much so. Also, like, to answer the question, it's like, to me, my expression, like, I still enjoy the fandom. It does, like, make me... The only thing that makes me upset about the entire situation is just how people will just easily accept the one side without getting both sides of the stories. It's like, that would never work in a courtroom. Someone's not going to just get, like, the defendant's side, and then the prosecutor don't get to tell their side, and they're guilty. It's like, that's not how this works. You get both sides of the stories, or you don't get either side of the story. But in the fandom, people just believe one side, and that's all they need.
Personally, I'm not really scared of receiving cancel culture. I'm actually bracing for it, and I'm ready if there's going to be something. I mean, as soon as you start getting popular or anything, people are going to find ways to attack you because they envy you or whatsoever. Now, I am not perfect. I will make mistakes, and I will always apologize for those mistakes. So if I do something wrong or something that offends you, please send me a private message and tell me what's going on. Don't publicly shame me. It's not going to fix the situation. It's just going to escalate it and make it worse. So I'm not scared of it. I know it's going to happen at some point, but please reach out to me if I do something. For the love of God. I will apologize and I'll make it up to you.
If I ever wanted to cancel you, Trent, it was because you held my hand.
Oh man,
not that hand holding.
I wish Kid was recording when that happened. Oh man, it would have been priceless. But
he touched my hand. How dare you?
It was
non-consensual hand touching. Oh no.
I thought you cared about me. I thought we could hold hands. I thought we've reached this level of friendship. You know, you're such a sweet guy and all. Right?
Your hand is not here.
Oh my god!
If anything, we do have a victim that witnessed it all. Actually, no, we have a witness who was Kit.
Yeah,
he was laughing his butt off about it.
Oh man, he was like maybe like 30, 40 feet behind us, and he just heard, "What the hell, man?" Just like big action, and be like, "Whoa!" It was funny.
But back onto the topic at hand. Okay, Whiplash, what do you want to say?
Oh no! I say Arden's going to Megaplex. I'm gonna get him to be another double Whiplash, so I can get absolutely destroyed again.
Oh,
okay.
I want to have my drink again.
But back on the topic, guys. Okay. Last question, and we're gonna start off with you, Whiplash. So prepare and pull up your big britches. Oh wait, you're not wearing pants. Never mind. But anyways,
I'm not wearing anything.
What?
Oh God.
Wink, wink.
Stop.
Hey,
behave.
Remember the age rating. Don't forget.
Yeah, it's 18 plus.
No, it's 13 plus.
Oh God. Fine.
It's okay.
I have britches on.
Imaginary britches. But anyways, last question. What are your thoughts on the people who engage in cancel culture? Do you think they do it out of boredom? Do you think it also comes back to bite them on the butt sometimes?
So, last two questions, a yes for me. It just depends on the person. The people who engage in cancel culture, to me, is one of three things. One, they are friends with the person who is starting the drama and will be behind their backs regardless, even if it's not true, because they're friends with them. 2, they will do it for acceptance and to be a part of something that they're not a part of. They want to engage in it. 3, it could just be a troll, so yes, they'll believe it. Or not believe it, but they'll just go with it so they can engage in the fire and the pile that is burning up.
I think a lot of people, they do it out of boredom as a form of entertainment, but I don't believe that everybody do it for that reason. Some people do believe in justice and wants to protect their friends from this person, so they, instead of going to their individual friends, they will do a public announcement about it, which is not the way to go. And a lot of people that do it out of boredom, they tend to do it again and again and again, and eventually these people, they get noticed. It's like, oh, okay, what is it this time? And what's this story this person is stirring up? And it usually always, these people, they end up losing all their credibility and they end up sinking their own ship. So people that stir drama around, let them talk. Eventually their ship is going to sink.
I also agree that it comes down to boredom as well. But I will say something like this that I want people to understand, because this is very important. You see, when you are engaging in the cancel culture, right? And I mentioned that question, do you think it's going to bite them on the butt? Eventually it will, because you decided to be a part of that crowd. You are what you attract. And if that happens to you, well, you need to think about your own choices about what kind of group of people you hang out with. Now,
what goes around comes around.
That's true. Now we have a little bit of time, but I want to mention one thing. It's a bit off topic, but this is important to me. So I looked up to somebody, and I've mentioned this in episodes before. I looked up to a lot of people. And I did not mention this person in the episode. Now, I got news a couple of days ago. They recently passed away. And he was a former wrestler who I looked up to because of his creative way of making characters. His name was Bray Wyatt. Now, I know probably you guys are probably not WWE fans, but that's not the point. The point is that we lost somebody so young. He was only 36. He had a heart attack when he had COVID.
Oh, no.
And if you guys want to take the time, go look him up. I am planning to do something for him as a tribute, and I'm going to post it on Twitter once I figure out how I get the props I need, but I won't be making a tribute to him. So rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. I hope you're resting well. But if you guys have nothing else to say on the topic.
Your new dog looks weird.
Oh. Yeah, I know, right?
It's a weird dog.
But he's so pretty.
Those. It has whiskers and a long tail and fangs and purrs. It's a really weird dog. I don't know why you would get that.
Say no to cancel culture. We're going to make this a program or make it a... God, I can't think of it. We're going to make it just like the 80s. We're going to make it like the 80s when they were talking about no drugs. No.
I will also say something. Learn to step up for yourself and don't let anybody push you around. And that's just saying, that's coming from me, okay? You know, especially after what's happened to someone in my family and people throwing that one word I told you guys around. Don't let that happen. Stick up for that. Make them say if it's really true. Or are they just saying it out of their... If they're saying it out of their... Stop that. Stop cancel culture like that. Protect the real victims.
Oh, that's good. Protect the real victims. I like that. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You got anything to say, Stream?
Nope. That's pretty much it for me. What about you, Whiplash?
I was going to say, it just seems like where a lot of people think they're victims in this fandom. When it's not like an actual like victim status, it's just more like you're angry at someone.
Okay. Well, if you guys, I guess that concludes today's episode. We'll see you guys next week. Until then, have a good evening. Have a great rest of your week, wherever you are around the world. Stay positive.
Yeah.
See ya.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah.
Good day. Good morning.
Yeah.
Good night.
Woo.
That's a
Hey
wrap.
Jet, you were a good boy. You didn't step in my on my.
Well, he
phone
jumped
this
on
time.
you once,
So who
stream.
wants to?
So
I
who
can
wants
see
to
your
say we're gonna get
cursor
canceled?
on the Google document.
We probably will. Maybe. I don't
Or
know.
especially someone who was against me on that whole situation is gonna be like, but he did though.
It's a big baby.
We'll see.
Big baby.
Just keep in mind.
I
we're
don't
doing
care
credits.
regardless. Huh?
What the heck?
We're still in credits, so the film is
Was the
still
wording
rolling.
we were looking for earlier gullible?
Oh yeah, people are very gullible on the internet. Oh my god, that is so
that's the
true.
word.
That's a good
That's the
word.
Oh my god, gullible.
And Lady
This is a good-
and Lady Justicia, by the way, for the statue.
the
All
what?
right.
Lady Justicia, the statue.
Yeah, we were talking about it backstage.
Ah,
The
Lady
blindfold and the
Justice.
scales.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I've always
So how
seen
was
that
that, Zarko?
statue, but I never
Oh.
gave it a thought. And now that you guys brought it up,
There
it
you
makes
go.
sense
That
now. And I
You
learned
are
something
so
new today.
adorable.
So how
I
was
was
that?
like, why am I moving by
The
myself? And so it's on my
the
controller.
RE4 remake. Worth a fair bit of money.
You guys are awesome. You get
I have a few comments regarding backstage.